and soul. Drove from Boston to Connecticut, so I'm told. The young girl waiting with a marriage contract in hand and a small pizza as big as a land. He crossed the state lines, fueled by a dream, but little did he know it was not as it seemed. Chris Hansen appeared just like a thunderstorm, caught him off guard, caused his heart to transform. Oh, Jeff's so cold. You were a fool blinded by desire, now you're caught in a web of Chris Hansen's fire. In this bluegrass ballad, we'll sing of your plight, a cautionary tale for those who dare take flight. She crossed the state lines, fueled by a dream, but little did he know it was not as it seemed. Chris Hansen appeared just like a thunderstorm, caught him off guard, caused his heart to transform. Blazing trails, monster trucks, they never fail, crushing obstacles with sheer might. In the arena, they dominate the fight. Time to fly in this wild ride through the dirt and the mud. We collide. Monster trucks, they rule the sea, showing off their power like a dream. Ryan Maxwell, hear our call, drop that rolling gate, take the fall. We've had enough of the lies you see. It's time to set the truth free. It's time to set the truth free. Ryan, listen up, hear our call. Drop the rolling gate, 2024. It's gonna fall. Monster trucks unite. Make you see our power and our might. Set your spirit free. No matter how cool monster trucks are, rolling gate will always be bullshit.
Late in his truck, staving on patrol, but little did he know his secret's about to unfold. Cameras rolling, evidence strong and bold. Caught on film, his disgrace. Man, the story's gotta be told. A cop by day, a different side behind closed doors, but he couldn't resist temptation knocking on his doors. In that parking lot with his sausage out and exposed. Oh, Stephen, your career's done, everyone knows. Calling the X, no way to deny. His reputation shattered, he can't even try. A moment of weakness, forever ingrained. Oh, you'll never be the same again. Steven, you'll never be the same again.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is FFOP Radio. Here on the channel, it's FFOP Radio as usual. Friday night, I've got a little interrogation footage for you all. But first, let me introduce my co-host and producer. Christo's there off camera.
Hi.
So we are getting into it here, folks. So there were so many to choose from, and I didn't feel like diving into a big two-parter because I've got a bunch of them. Russell Williams is probably going to be coming down the pipe here pretty soon because it's only 2 hours worth of footage.
He's the Colonel, right?
Yeah. And I could probably... There's a couple I want to do, like Colonel Russell Williams and chunks of Michael Rafferty. And only because same interrogator. Jim Smith comes in and like nails Russell to the wall. But Rafferty is such a piece of shit, and it's 4 chunks, 4 pieces of his interrogation, all between 45 minutes and an hour.
Oh, so we'd need like 7 episodes?
Well, probably like I feel like I could probably get the point across in the first and the fourth.
Oh.
Because they bring him in, he's accused of, doing horrible things, then killing this 8-year-old, using this girl named Terry Lynn McClintock to like the old like, oh, you want to go see a puppy type bullshit,
like a luring thing.
Whisked away in a van up in Canada. So he spends the first however many hours, minutes, whatever, like in a little yellow blanket, crying in the corner, not touching his tea that they gave him and not touching his donut because he thinks if he touches them, he'll look guilty. So, and he says that later, like he's a piece of shit. What moral of the story is we're not talking about him tonight. What I have for you is a little ditty by the name of Stephen Chaisson. Now, this guy was a Boston cop.
Oh.
And I don't get it. He's like a Jeff Palo, but less intense. Because like Jeff, actually broke into people's houses and doing shit. What we're going to be going over here is Steven is going to get another Steven's going to get, and they'll have thick Boston accents, which is another reason I wanted to do this.
Of course.
But it just feels like this. I'm not getting anything wrong, but maybe there's nuance that I'm missing. But what they're going to be talking about is Steven here rolling into a parking lot, seeing a woman at an ATM, like getting out of his truck and standing by the tailgate, whipping it out and start yanking it.
Awesome.
So, the woman sees it and she goes, "Oh my God, you're yanking it in a parking lot." And he goes, "Well, if you're going to get that way about it, I'll leave." So she takes notice of the color of his car and the license plate number and all this shit. And just by happenstance, she's driving by the police station and sees that car and that license plate number.
I feel like we talked about this on an episode.
Probably.
Recently.
We're doing the whole thing now. So this is it. There's more to it, obviously. We'll get into it because he's going to have to answer a lot of
course,
questions that I feel like everybody would have.
and especially to his fellow officers.
That's the craziest part is you have to try and act like Holtzclaw, like Daniel Holtzclaw, like when he got nabbed for all his crazy shit, like Rocky and that lady detective, talk about beating off in that interrogation. There's a through line. Whatever, here we go. And for context, he drives like a red truck. She found his license plate in the parking lot and he swapped it. Oh, my friggin' wife.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
I love that shit. I also like that it's probably like a 12 or 15 panel door. What's going on here?
The doorstop is kind of funny.
Like this is obviously not an interrogation.
No, it's like an office.
They're about to get into it, but it's been going on for a while. There's been an investigation, obviously. Especially when it's one of their own, they sort of make sure they have all their T's crossed and their I's dotted. So he was given a lot of leeway with this shit.
going to sit here quietly.
What's up, Steven?
Drink my coffee.
The fact that I'm out of uniform, has a decision been made or something, or?
First of all, this is recorded. We're
Yeah.
recording the interview.
First of all, recorded. We're recording this interview. Like, not even. You would expect them, especially being in the same station, to like have a little bit of pleasantries, but
No.
maybe that all happened outside.
I just want to wait for him to come in before I say anything. But I'll say, no, a decision has not been made.
All right,
Just, you'll be truthful.
I know. Is there a reason it took 6 weeks, or?
6 weeks, dude. And that's the thing. God knows that when he's counting the 6 weeks from, because he only knew that he was recognized when I think she called the police station and was like, "I found the guy's truck. He's in your parking lot
He's
right
there
now." And they're like,
now.
"Huh?"
Had to talk to everyone and interview everyone.
As usual, there's got to be a loud guy on the phone in the background.
Of course, they got to wait for him to come back in.
Copyright strike.
No, no, football. Right?
Yeah,
All right.
the NFL.
What do you?
I mean, that looks like a Palm Pilot or an old BlackBerry. I wonder.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year this is.
What's his last name? Chaisson?
Chaisson.
It's off.
Yeah, it's off.
I turned the ringer off.
Well, Steve, the reason you're in here, obviously, number one. is-
Well, obviously.
The interview,
Yeah.
all right? I think that you know why you're here.
Yep,
There's been some allegations made, there's been some discussion made about some activity on Water Street.
yeah.
Water Street. Of course, it has to be on Water
Because
Street.
it's the potential
Water.
that's possibly criminal, and it's possibly also something that's going to be involved in the department itself later on.
Department.
And you get the rights, I gotta advise you your rights.
Yeah.
I think you will.
I know my rights.
Okay.
Still got to read it to
Well,
you. You know, I can't be like, hey, he's no
No, I
good.
Right.
understand.
So,
2016?
you wanna
Wow.
read them, understand them.
That phone looks so old.
See?
But, damn, 2016 isn't like yesterday, so... Yeah, 8 years ago, that's like 12 phone generations ago.
28.
That's when this article was published, I'm assuming.
10, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Water Street.
Water.
Lady, so you're cranking it, Steven. What's up with that? And like in broad daylight at the rear of his truck, like
And you're like a cop.
Have another
like
tomorrow.
brazen.
You wanna talk about the situation?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd be like, no. Even if no, give me my
No.
union rep or whatever. Like, he must know that they have the video because whatever they're gonna get into it. I'm sorry to keep spoiling it, but they're gonna ask him like, how often have you checked on this case of the dude Yankee in the parking lot? And he
Right.
goes, oh, I just like literally earlier today.
Yeah.
Arlia.
I think it'd be easy if I go through a list of questions and get to try to understand the whole thing.
Look at that desk
So you know
lamp.
the incident we're talking about.
I know,
Talk
like
about
it's so out of
incident.
place.
Okay. Have you ever gone on the IMC computer and pulled up that incident itself?
I have,
There we go.
How many times have you done that?
I think 2 or 3 times,
Why?
just to check on it and see if there's any more updates or
On
whatnot.
me.
Okay, when was the last time you looked at it?
I think I looked at it this morning.
Okay.
I
Do you
think
intend to just keeping track of what's going on with it?
Right.
Okay.
2 or 3 times over 6 weeks, and the last one was this morning. That doesn't feel right. I bet he probably checked it a dozen times
Yeah.
or more.
Every day.
Yeah, like
Has there been any changes?
I mean, because that's the thing, right? Like once an investigation ball starts rolling, it's going to pick up everything in your life and crush it under its mighty weight.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know if it would be worse or better to like keep an eye on it because you know it's coming for you.
Yeah.
Not that I noted, no.
Okay. How often do you get your hair cut?
Monthly.
And where do you go?
I go to,
That's another thing that happened is after like he got caught Yankee, like he went and cut his hair. So he basically did everything.
A person would do.
Yeah, like even if you like robbed the liquor store, Like, you would probably do the same shit he did. He, like, got a haircut. After she saw his license, he's, like, immediately getting it changed. And the guy's going to be like, well, what the fuck's up with that? And he's like, oh, it's free.
Salisbury Square, but the last
Great
time I went
defense.
to
Yeah.
the place next to Panera, it was on a Wednesday.
Sorry, Evan.
Yeah.
Scott.
And
Hello, Maxwell.
Maxwell.
was that that's the last one done?
So many
Wednesday,
haircuts.
Probably 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Do you chew tobacco?
On occasion.
On occasion being,
Only when I yank it in parking lots of Food
Ooh.
Lions.
Regularly.
Or Publix.
Now, Stevie, no, that's not good for you, right?
A week here, a week there. So, yeah, I do.
is it stress-driven? Is it just habit-driven?
Habit, nicotine,
Hormone.
I guess. You know,
I guess, 'cause it's an addictive substance, I guess it's that.
Yeah.
I don't
On
know.
the 17th, which is the date that we've all been talking about.
yeah,
That
Were you
we've
at the
all
police
been
station
talking
that
about.
morning?
I was.
How long?
I think I left here around well, I came here at 10. Me and Chucky had a meeting with Tony King and Steve Sefolter in the morning. I came here after that around 10 o'clock. Probably left here around a little bit before 11.
It's so funny. Like, this was 6 weeks ago that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he remembers, like, I mean, I guess, like, I don't remember what I did, like, last week, time-wise.
Right, and that's just something that's implicitly, damning. Because, like, if you weren't involved in a crime or whatever, and he's been probably interviewed a couple of times about it, and
That's true. It's like he's ready to go home.
yeah, well, because he's definitely going home on administrative leave.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, I mean, that's like 6 weeks. They like, oh my god, like, imagine if you as a regular citizen just yanked it in a parking lot, and they had, spoiler alert, video footage of you doing it, and the eyewitness found your truck and your license plate and picked you up in a photo lineup. Do you think the cops would give you 6 weeks of just dicking around time before they whomped your ass with a nightstick?
Right.
No, they'd be like, hey, dude, we just pulled the footage yesterday. You're going to jail. Yeah, 6 weeks.
Is that the only time you're in the station that day, or if you can
I
remember?
believe so, yeah.
All right. And you remember what you were wearing that day?
I was wearing white cargo pants and a red shirt similar to this.
Oh, sorry. It was
I don't know what my
2013.
footwear was, I assume sneakers.
That's even worse. That's like freaking 11 years ago.
September 2013.
And you operate the truck, the rust-colored truck?
They finally
Yeah, that
take
is
in the
my name.
lineup.
And it's got it had the registration 359 Bob
BPH.
Paul.
I feel like, yeah, that's how they, like, the woman who's, was the victim of the yanking, like, but like at the time he had like curly hair, like he had longer curly hair, so he immediately chopped it off. And that's like, I don't know if they did a photo lineup with him because he's one of the cops. They were probably just like, whoa, that's like your truck. The fuck's up with that? But maybe they did. I don't know.
I cannot believe. Sorry, I'm reading the article.
Did you have the truck that day?
He didn't
Yes.
get charged with anything. He got charged with nothing. He was just asked to resign. And then he got a job at, I guess, a compliance officer somewhere.
Right, but that's I know, but here's the thing: like, there's nothing is fair. Like, I don't know. I can say it at least, whatever. There's no such thing as at least, but like any institution that's big is going to cover up its fuck ups so it doesn't lose
Face value.
credibility
or whatever,
lose face. So like that's why. All these murderers who roll through hospitals giving people air embolisms or overdosing them on overdosing them on insulin or whatever.
Right.
Like, you could blow through 24 victims and then just go to a new hospital with a letter of recommendation because they're not even going to pretend like you're a horrifying murderer just to be like, okay, all the mysterious deaths stop. Nobody tried to sue us yet. The bullet dodged.
Oh yeah, no. So there, so a long time ago, when I worked at a hospital, there was a doctor who was sexually harassed by another doctor, and he filed all of the things, everything. He stayed. He ended up leaving the place eventually. But the doctor that did it, he just
Any place
went to another hospital.
Right, any place like that is a great place to just be a sexual deviant because you're protected by all the powers of that institution.
Right.
Like if you're a priest or a doctor or a cop or a fireman or anything that is like, something that society recognizes like as it's one of its
Saving
stereotypical
people.
jobs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like if somebody like as a child can say, I want to grow up and be X, that answer protects sexual deviants for whatever reason and murderers.
You sound like you know business.
Were you on Water Street, or Federal Street, or any of these streets near there? that day?
Water
No, I
Street,
wasn't.
get a
Not near
lobster,
any of them.
No.
Water.
Well, it's probably on Water Street maybe, but
hit him in Hava Yard.
actually no, it still would have been Market Square if I went up state. So no,
So you never went down that way at all?
never.
No.
For
He
any
also failed a
reasons that
polygraph
day?
test.
Well,
Duh.
no, not for any
Entire
reason.
day, when you left here, where'd you go?
I went to the North End Boat Club, checked on my boat, and then I went home.
Nope, didn't do that. I went to a parking lot and yanked it in front of a camera. And the lady said, get out of here. And I left.
Was there anybody at home that would,
Yeah, my wife.
okay.
My wife.
Oh, God, imagine. I mean, Krista, what would you rather, like, get a phone call from me in jail for? Like, I'm Maurice Wolin or I'm this guy. And I wouldn't have the protection of being a cop, so I would definitely be charged with something and go to jail for a long time. But, like, would you rather have me be like, oh, just bring a $30,000 check and you come to find out that Chris Hansen was involved?
I would
Or
rather
like-
you yank it in a parking lot
Right,
with
I
a
feel
woman.
like it's a no contest thing, right?
If you had anything to do with any kind of person younger than 18, we'd have a problem.
That was just a test. Like I would. Here's the thing. I mean, you can't say like, yeah, 9 times out of 10, I would just pull it out in parking lot. But like, when would I need to do that? It's like, but yeah, obviously.
You know where the ATM machine
Have you
is
ever
on
done
Wall
anything
Street, right?
sexually in a parking lot before?
No, I have more class than that.
Where's that located?
On the east side of the Tannery Building
Okay.
on Water Street.
Facing water?
Water Street.
No, I guess,
Well,
can you
parking
see it
lot.
from Water Street?
Yes.
Spank Boulevard.
And you've changed the registration of your truck.
Oh yeah, why'd you do that?
Why did you do that?
Because a woman came in here and said that was the truck who she saw somebody masturbating in.
Oh really?
Huh, so that's why you did it, because
That's
you wanted
weird.
to cover your tracks?
Right, like whatever. Eyewitnesses, bullshit maybe, but the fact that she knew what your truck looked like and knew the license plate number.
You know, it would be considered evidence then,
You know,
right?
Somebody was doing that with a truck similar to mine, with a plate similar to mine.
And for sure, someone in this facility here would have run a search, if you will, let's say for red trucks with plates similar to mine, realizing there were none. And hello.
Yeah.
I talked to Greg Whitney, and he suggested I change my plate, and so I did.
Dropping names.
Right. Who the
Is
fuck is that?
like a drastic move.
Not really. It's free. It didn't cost me any money. It was
I mean, if it was like $12, I would have been like, screw that. I'll take the potential sexual predator charge.
It's
But
kind of strange.
It's free.
It doesn't cost anything in Boston.
I think it's probably because he's a cop.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Not whatever. I don't want to be like corruption.
No, but their plates
they
are
probably
free.
they probably get a lot of shit for free because
it was just, she keeps on seeing that plate here and keeps on thinking it's me.
I mean, she saw my face and she saw my hand around my Johnson, so I mean, she probably will think it's me.
Just trying to, like I said, I didn't run out and change the plate. I know how it looks to some people, but when she came into the station, my place of work, I figured try to,
Yeah.
just stop her from seeing that truck here. I didn't want attention drawn to me or the PD.
Yeah. Right, because if I were caught yanking in public, I wouldn't want attention for that, or bring that attention rather to the place of my work. I wouldn't want to walk in to the office on Monday and be like, "Yo, yanking it in a parking lot."
So you got red plates. and
Doing
red
it.
plates. Are they both on the truck or just one?
Just one right now.
Was it two?
There was.
So you've taken one off again?
I have.
Why?
The bolts, it rattled. I have to get bolts that will that
Not
don't,
rattle.
hit the back of it, so it'll tighten up.
Okay.
It's a great story.
Do you know the lady, or you've read in the reports then, who the person, who the
Right.
victim is? Do you know this person?
Never,
Have you ever met her,
no,
any interaction with her?
not that I know of, no.
That's such a weird sticking point that I'm now seeing as like a theme in a lot of this stuff is like sometimes it's the detectives bringing it up to be like, is there any connection? And they just go no. And sometimes it's like the suspect being like, I've never seen this person before in my life. I have no connection, yada, yada, yada. And the detectives always fire back with, well, you don't have to know someone to commit a crime against them.
Right.
So like when the detective asks it, it's sort of open and shut. They go, did you know them? Like, were you just like, is this a premeditated spanking? And that's where it lives and dies. But if they go, well, I don't even know this person. How would I hurt this person if I don't even know them? Like, bitch, how many people die not knowing who they were killed by? A lot, probably.
Probably.
And it's like you don't have to, again, you don't have to like have a special victim murder relationship with them before you get to like commit that crime.
No. You know, when I first thought about this, I was thinking maybe a drug suspect or something, but, you know, I don't know her.
I don't know the camera that caught me yanking it.
Yeah.
So you didn't commit any sexual acts on Lois?
Absolutely not.
Not even debatable.
And no
Not
reason
even.
to understand why
It's
someone
on
would be
camera.
accusing you of it?
No, I have no open cases. I have no, I don't think it's
Yow.
that. Originally I did. But, there's really no reason to go after me,
I mean, that's what most suspects say. There's no reason, except the thing is, the reason why they're talking to you is because all the evidence points to you. That's the reason they're here.
Right. Why else would you have been
Like,
talked to and like?
Yeah, I've never been pulled into an interrogation room and questioned for murder because I've never been in a position where I would need to be.
Right.
But like, if I were, I wouldn't, and I were guilty, and I knew that, and I was trying to keep it from them. I wouldn't say something stupid like, I don't know why you're looking at me. I know why they're looking at me. I'm in a police station. I know I committed murder, and they're looking at me hard. But I'm not going to be stupid enough to be like, I don't know.
I would say, lawyer, please.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. I would say, this is bullshit. And here's the thing. If I were, smart and a criminal, which I don't think I'm either, I would definitely do, the thing I've seen work before is like you get just sort of pissed off and you go, oh, this is bullshit, you fuck you, and you just sort of give that whole, even if it's fabricated, the pattern of what a victim would do,
Yeah.
or the family member of a victim would do if you accuse them of murder. You make a big scene, you say, give me my lawyer. Because that will do you a head and shoulders more good than sitting there for the next 6 hours, going through 5 detectives, and eventually being like, yeah. And then you like have a 3D holographic diagram that you essentially coded with the detectives, like to show the jury.
Is there anything you can explain to me or make me understand that would, other than you're saying you didn't do it? I mean, she's describing, you've seen the report, she describes you to a T.
I would like fucking Gabriel Renee. He's gonna be like, I disagree.
That's
I
not me.
disagree.
The cargo pants, the dark curly hair.
I really don't think I have curly hair. I have dark hair. But no, I can't.
You
I
cut
can't
it.
explain that away. I honestly can't.
And
That's the thing about evidence that, but that's a couple of things you can't explain away. Like you can't explain away concrete evidence like DNA or whatever, but you also can't explain away circumstantial evidence because it was circumstantial.
Yeah.
Like if you were jogging and you run through a puddle of blood that was like attached to a murder victim, and like the cops come at you and they go, well, obviously it was you because you murdered them and then ran through their blood not realizing it. And then if you get railroaded, you go, well, this is circumstantial. But there's nothing you can say about that.
Right.
They can say, well, tell us why you're not a murderer. I
was
didn't murder
jogging.
anybody.
Right, I didn't do it.
There's no way. You could be like, well, I'm not a murderer because I've never murdered anybody. Well, prove you've never murdered anybody.
Yeah.
You can't prove a negative. That's why you say, lawyer, please, get the fuck out of my face. If anyone asks you to try and prove a negative, you're losing, especially if they've said you have the right to remain silent at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain why a vehicle similar to yours
What's
shows
up,
up on
Ryan?
ATM cameras?
Cliff notes is this is a Boston police officer who pulled his pants down.
He didn't pull him down. It was
Oh my
he
God.
pulled it out. He was yanking it in a Boston parking lot. A lady saw him. Was on film. He's
Saw
being
his truck in
interrogated.
the parking lot of the police station.
Go back and watch the beginning of this show to listen to all the songs. I think you'll really appreciate it.
Probably the vehicle that was there. You know, it's
Plus, it was me yanking it.
you know, if there was somebody there in a vehicle like mine, it could have been that vehicle.
Do you know
This is kind of like Brent Christensen a little bit. Like,
Oh, he's the guy that killed the Asian girl, right?
yeah,
At the
he
school?
he had the Saturn Astra. So there was like, 1,200 Astras in all of Illinois. And he was the one who had the sunroof and the broken hubcap. So it's,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people have his specific truck in Boston. I don't think very many, because it just all the stuff that I've come across in this case doesn't feel like it's your average like white 1,500 box standard, one of the three big ones. So it just feels like, I don't know, man. Like,
Wonder if I can see if the article that I was reading says what truck he had.
like these fools, like these kind of, I don't know, like they meaning these people with this sort of mentality, whether they're sex pests or not, like they can't not be flashy, so they buy a bunch of flashy shit, and so when they go out and commit crimes, all their flashy shit attracts a bunch of attention.
Right.
Like if I were to go out and be some sort of predator, you do like all the really successful ones did, like a Dahmer or a whatever. You like dress normal, you buy yourself like a champagne Camry. You wear sensible clothes, you buy slacks, and murder to your heart's content. Because like BTK was going to like his PTA meetings, BTK at the PTA, and probably going to all of his church functions and stuff, just looking like an accountant, which he was.
Yeah.
But he was a super freak at night. He was like the opposite of a superhero. But like villains, here's the thing about super villains though, they're always in the character. So like he was slipping in and out, more like an evil Batman.
So the mayor, it doesn't say here what truck he had, but so the mayor gave him immunity and let him resign. He didn't admit anything until after he was granted immunity.
He's such a piece of shit.
And then he got a job at he was policing the state's medical marijuana program. He
Right,
wasn't a police officer.
Whatever. And here we are just pointing out the fact that it's great that he fucking definitely did something. He was sworn. You know how the doctors of basically everywhere have to take the Hippocratic Oath. They first do no harm.
Yep.
Like the police are first supposed to not yank it in front of the citizenry. And just too much for Mr. Chaisson here.
So you're a
know
big
what
Boston
truck looked
fan,
like
but
that?
it's
Yeah.
a Boston cop.
Not with that
The
plate.
Boston Cap.
Oh, cap. Oh,
There is a
sorry.
truck around
My
here with
tablet's far away.
Yeah, Boston fan? Oh, I like baseball.
green plates.
The Boston
but it's
Cab, yeah.
Different registration. Me and Josh saw it the other day and
I
saw.
sat in the Green Monster at Boston Stadium once.
I changed my license plate from beating it to. I got no follow up to that joke. Like, what's another term for like yanking it? You could put on a license plate.
The only difference on that one is a single cab, and I think she described the vehicle that was there as a single cab.
So she got it right.
I'm between a rock
Yeah,
and a
that
hard
was
plate on this one.
confusing.
I know how it looks.
It looks
I do.
really bad.
I know.
And if you've got some situation going on, I suggest now's the time to say it, because
Now is the exact time.
from here, it's only gonna get worse.
And by worse, I mean the mayor will pardon you, and even though you'll be a laughing stock behind the back of like literally everybody, because like, how do you? That's another thing about this type of asshole is like he is totally fine, getting pardoned and being like, yeah, I did it, and now being known as the dude, like, because he's not stopping. Like, this is
Right.
an affliction. He's doing other gross, perverted things. It's not like one day he drove up into a food line and was like, you know what? What would it be like to yank it in public? He's still doing perverted, gross shit, but he got cut a ticket by everybody around him because this like it's getting the more and more I like really take a critical look at the criminal justice system, the more I have to sort of empathize and be like, yeah, you kind of got a point to all the people who are like, this shit's corrupt from the bottom up and yada yada yada. Because I can't look them in the eye and go, nuh-uh.
If there's something going on that you want to talk about, that you want to move forward with.
I don't want to
at
talk
this
about
moment,
it.
This is the only time it's going to happen.
There's nothing I can think of. I
Yeah.
wasn't there that day. I wasn't on Federal. I wasn't in the tannery. I wasn't there.
Okay.
Okay.
I have I'll volunteer to give you my cell phone records. And if they can show the tower where they're from, it'll show the timestamps on.
Right, like why hasn't that happened?
Right.
This 2013. So I don't know where we are technology wise. I know that like in the early 2000s that like text messages didn't last for longer than 24 hours on any given server. So I don't know where we are between like that where every record is just destroyed because there's no reason or room for it versus now where everything is collected no matter how minuscule.
That's true.
So like in 2013, would they have already been like, yeah, we pulled the records and we found that your phone was like in the parking lot and also moving in a strange gyrating fashion around the time that somebody was yanking it there?
On where I was when I received that. I was texting you that day about a rubber boat. Right
A
around
rubber
the time
dinghy.
of this.
We're playing with your dinghy.
The earlier calls, I was here. I talked to Chris McDonald. I talked to an Ipswich police officer.
I
about
fucking love this boat
dive
talk,
training.
by the way.
Yeah.
And then I'm back home when I'm
A lot of texting goes on about this boat. God damn, I can't wait for you guys to hear about the boat.
on the phone there. I'm not sure what time you text me. I think it was around 11. I don't remember.
That's the thing, like it's
And I
broad
still have him on my
daylight.
phone if you want to see him right now.
Yeah,
Huh?
well, you got this.
It's tiny little
I was
cell
going to
phone.
say, it's so small.
Back in the day, but that's the thing.
Does he have a razor?
Nah,
He just put it on his side.
no, all phones could do that. Like my Droid in 2013 could do that, but had a slide keyboard or whatever. Crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. Oh, yeah. So yeah, we went through that period of like when smartphones started, they were super small. Like I had a Palm that was like the size of a postage stamp, and now they're going super big. And I've been flirting with the idea because on Amazon or wherever you want to go, they'll have those tiny smartphones.
They've got
that
the
are
little ones for
like
kids.
2 inches by 3 inches.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not for kids necessarily, but they only do a certain amount of stuff, and it's like meant for people who want less distraction. I've always entertained that idea. I'll like, go on Amazon every once in a while and be like, should I buy a tiny cell phone? Because it's like kind of hilarious, but like I would at least like for all the distractions it would remove, I would at least need it to play music in my car, and I don't know if like
That would do that.
yeah, because they're like it's like the size of a Tic Tac. It's crazy.
What time did this allegedly happen?
Allegedly.
I don't think in the report.
11:52.
11:52.
In the morning? You mean he went out before noon and yanked it in a parking lot? Broad fucking daylight.
Yeah.
Just
High noon.
like literally the best light anywhere to catch a shadow of your joint upon the ground.
Boat pick, pick me out in town. Oops, penis pick.
Yeah, he's rocking some Johnson picks because he's like sending them to God knows. I mean, that's the thing because like when you go, all right, so he's yanking it in the parking lot of a Food Lion. Like what else? Or rather, what isn't off limits, right?
Right.
Like I had a boss when I was an electrician. I forget which company, but like he was a pervert, and wasn't even like ashamed about it. But like he did shit that just barely skirted like the edge of bad taste and the law. You know what I mean? So like sometimes I'd have to ride with him places, or he'd show places, and like he was so fucking stupid too. On his work issued BlackBerry at like red lights, he would take pictures, close-ups of female joggers' asses or any other female body part that he'd get away with taking a picture with without getting caught. And even if he did, like he was in a truck and we didn't give a fuck. And then he would just like scroll through them in front of us. But that, I can't even say that was an unusual thing. The amount of nude images that I was shown unprompted as a member of the trades, off the fucking charts. Like the 7 years I spent as an electrician, I mean, every other part of my life is essentially zero. No one has ever turned a phone to me to show me the nude genitals of a person that they were prospectively trying to have sex with or had sex with, and that was the proof. Not before or since. Not.
Did it?
Because it's not something you normally do as a human. It's just as a construction worker, you pass around genital pics of what you've been slamming.
Didn't no, it didn't go this far, I don't think. But even when you worked at the car dealership, that one older guy was like always looking for like escorts and stuff.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, like that. He was
like on the work computer.
He was a different breed. That's the thing. Perverts are everywhere.
Right.
So, but he did not. That's the thing.
He didn't show you nudes.
He was a sex pervert trolling Craigslist for escorts who posted pussy pictures. And he would then, like, as I was walking up to try and close a deal on an Explorer from this old couple from Wisconsin, he would go, check this out, and swing his 27-inch monitor over to show me some escort's butthole. And I go, that's great, boss. Now,
Can you sign
they are willing to put $5,200 down, so what's their payment going to be? He's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, fuck, professionalism. So I guess one instance outside of, but it wasn't on a phone.
Right, it was on a work computer instead.
Yeah, literally. He's gonna do the deal and pull up prostitutes on the same goddamn machine. Let's see, I got a lot of episodes of Family Guy out here I gotta scroll through.
He's looking at text messages. Like, and he saved his text messages from 6 weeks ago. I am the person that saves text messages from, like, I don't delete, like, ours.
Right, here's the thing. Like, all you people who don't do that, it's weird.
I don't do it only because it's convenient that I can open up my text app and hit husband instead of having to, like, hit the plus and type your name in and then do the thing. It's already there.
But here's the thing. If you're the person who cares the least in the relationship has the most power, so that's why I always delete my shit. Because like, if you don't talk to me, you'll get at me, and then I'll hit you back. But after the conversation is done, I go, oh, whatever, it's gonzo. If I would have put forth the effort, I'll be like, hey, what's up? I'll text you. But I'm gonna save. I mean, because most of the shit I say to people isn't noteworthy even to me, and I'm saying it.
I don't do it to like look back and be like, oh, this is what he said when he told me at the train, it's snowing at the train station. No, I do it for convenience.
There's no, whatever. That's the thing. People will text you, or if you need to, you'll burn the calories if you need to. Like, there's no reason to fill your phone with 18 gigabytes of like, what's for dinner?
You know what's funny is the day before you texted me a picture of a car.
Butthole.
Yeah, I had a red plate, but
You know, and I went back and looked for that.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
I have it right here.
Oh, you
Just
still
if
have
you
that
want to make a
text?
note. Yeah, I had all
I'm gonna make a note about this text
the
I
day
got.
I
before.
remember that.
You know,
Why are you gotta do it sideways? Oh my god, you lost it again. And the keyboard's up. Like, what the hell? Put it this way.
I miss my first droid, and maybe you guys remember these. It's same brick style, but it the screen slid up and it had like a tactile keyboard. But that was simply an option. If you kept it closed, it had the whole like touch screen. You could do the slide. But it was so nice to have that tactile, like clicky feel.
Yeah, like a razor? Not a razor. Weren't they called razors?
No, I don't know, whatever, because a couple of companies kept the tactile keyboard for a long time. And
I
like
think I had one, yeah.
It was so great because it was like the classic square, and it was just went click. That thing was built like a tank. I dropped it all the time, and it never broke. But like, it was so nice to have that keyboard. And now, like, I can't tell you. I mean, I never got upset at myself for clicking the wrong button because that was on me. But my touchscreen with the swipe function, it is constantly driving me up a fucking wall because it never works. When I try to swipe, it's like, no, try it the other way, idiot, and vice versa.
Let's give you this word instead.
Yeah, I love swiping a 19-letter word only for it to generate the first letter because it was like, you know what? I know swiping is a function. I just don't feel like it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Give me a fucking keyboard. Kind of feels like the now philosophy detective as he scrolls
Day
through
before
all
he
the
texted me a
pictures.
picture. Car the same
Is
as
this
mine.
you, Renee?
Obviously not my plate. It was a red plate.
So this is my Johnson.
Plate on it.
I messed it up again, boss. Sorry.
You really can't see. You can't read it.
Goddamn baby boomers.
Even if you blow it up.
You can't blow it up.
Yeah, I remember saying.
What if I download it and like send it to a computer?
But honestly, Maddie Cunningham, I was on detail the other day. Maddie Cunningham called me.
Like what type of text message do you think you could show someone to get you out of Yankee into the parking lot?
Oh, I was texting you
Like,
while I was doing
would you
it.
believe it? Like before this even happened, I was talking to a guy about a car, and they go, "Whoa, really? Let me see that shit." And they go, "Yeah. Oh, you were trying to buy a Chevy Celebrity? Obviously, your penis never left your pants
No.
in a Publix parking lot or wherever."
You know, busting my balls saying, stay away from the donuts. I'm like, what are you talking about?
My balls.
He goes, I just saw you. Stay away from the donuts. You know, it was at Cider Hill. You know, again, you know,
Yo,
Yeah,
yo.
a truck like mine, you know.
Yo.
Let me get to that.
Is he like part cat? Like, fuck.
Meow.
He could be in Super Troopers. Like, you have to say meow every fucking. Meow. I forget. Why are you looking at your phone again, dude?
Because he was texting the other guy
I
at
know,
the.
it's a rhetorical question for comedic
I
effect.
thought you were actually
No,
forgetting.
it was just mostly a comedy
You
show.
forget sometimes.
Oh my god, dude! Like, what are we doing? Like, what do you think this is? I realize that every bit of
September
silence
17th.
that you can cram in between awkward questions about you whipping your penis out in public is like a pound of gold.
Yeah.
But like, here we are, and it's fucking annoying. Cars or clothes. you ever use a Craigslist to sell or buy cars or clothes or you have a very particular look about you, Phil?
18th. You sent me a picture at 10.
I got a reservation at Foxwoods.
Two pictures at 10:55 of a boat you're looking at.
I don't have any specific memory of this, Stephen, but do you remember yanking it in the Food Lion parking lot?
Where were you?
No specific memory.
House in Newton.
Yes.
A person such as yourself.
I typed nice. You gonna go for it? You responded back.
He responded back, I like the boat. I think I might buy it. I said, don't mess with the dinghies.
At 11:59.
'Cause it's a
taking my
funny
time. At 12, you came back. Nice little boat, though. I responded at 12:01. Yeah, it is. You came back at
Of course, this was after he was done yanking it, so he was
Yeah.
free to use both hands to text.
Right.
12:07. 40 mile an hour top speed. 12:08.
Sounds like my wrist about 18 minutes ago. Wah, 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 wah.
I said use it for dive training. You can write it off.
Use your
What was the
personal
earliest
boat to
text I
ride
sent?
and get
The
a
earliest
tax
one I
write-off.
sent was 59.
What's that?
11:59.
11:59. What's that?
Wow, that came before the other ones?
7 minutes after you were jerking it.
Says, yeah, it is. Oh no, hold on. Says nice. You're gonna go for it.
Again, this is kind of like Brent Christensen, where he's like, I've got texts around that time, but like not at that exact time. Because that's the thing. Whether you're pulling your penis out and stroking it to near completion in a parking lot or murdering a Chinese exchange student, you're not going to be able to get at that phone. So you're going to be able to say stupid shit like, I've got shit around that time, or talk about a fucking boat, immediately after you were yanking it. But when they go, so what were you doing during the allegation, the time period of the allegations that I was, either Brent Christensen was taking a nap or playing video games, and maybe Steven here is a big GTA 5 fan. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Question mark. if you wanna see
Question
it,
mark.
check it. And then
I
we
was
go
listening
on.
to
I'm
Marky Mark
sitting
and
at
the
my
Funky
computer. I
Bunch.
actually sent you a photo of one at Seabrook. Yeah. I said, go to boattrader.com. I took a picture of the screenshot. I said, go to boattrader.com, type in 15-foot Zodiac,
Then he said,
and then search New Hampshire.
you do
The
it.
boat is a good deal.
Ask not what you can dong. Ask not what your dong. What? No, sorry. Ugh. See, here's the thing.
Ask not what can your dong do for you. Ask what you can do for your dong. I wanted you to say it in a Boston
Dong.
accent.
Right, but here's the thing. When I'm looking,
Yeah, it
I
cuts it
often
off.
have to not read until someone says something else because the emojis and this program cuts off
Oh yeah.
a lot of the shit. So as much as I want to react to it, I don't want to be like, I can only read half of it.
Asking 16K, barely used.
Can do for your dong.
12, 14.
14.
And then we have,
I said, just got finished yanking it.
You just said
It's
thanks after that,
parking
but-
lot.
You can see from the picture, I'm just, it's a screenshot from my computer.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah,
Is it-
I would. Fuck it. There you. Thank you, Ryan. If you, anyone out there, if you want to say something funny, then just bump it up a couple of times. There's so much to ask.
Don't delete your browsing history.
All right.
Don't delete your archives.
Kayla Marie, delete. And BS, like, couldn't you, again, I don't know, with 2013, don't delete your archives. Wouldn't that be all saved on, like, Sprint's servers or whatever he's got?
You can have my cell phone records,
I assume.
get tower.
Again, like, why would they not already have those? It's been 6 fucking weeks. Have they been sitting?
You wanna know why? He's a
I-
cop.
Right. But if that's the case, then at the end of 6 weeks, just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't even do this for 48 minutes. Like, this could be, here we are at 15 minutes. They go, well, okay. You took a picture of a screenshot. You say you didn't yank it in a parking lot. You looked at your boat. Obviously, that's all a lie, and you're going to not face any criminal charges. Let's get out of here.
Right.
That's not how bureaucracy works.
No,
Our
because the
information.
woman's gonna be like, if she
The
sees him
woman.
again and all that stuff, like,
the woman. Well, she's not even like a factor. Like when you are a victim of a crime against a cop, unless it's like insane levels of like aggression, like again, Jeff Palo, like he was actually breaking into people's houses and like assaulting them to completion.
Yeah.
Like duct taping them and shit. And, like there was guns involved and like fear and terror and all that.
right.
So that's definitely a step up from like pulling your penis out in public to, show a lady at an ATM some appreciation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still like, I realize that like, because I can't tell you how many dudes, again, to bring up the trades again, how many dudes I worked with were on, and again, take this with a grain of salt because it's according to them. But like how many dudes were like, yeah, I'm on some list somewhere because they got drunk and like pulled it out to piss in front of a bar. And like some dudes I believe that story for, and some dudes I was like, no, you're definitely a predator. But like that's the thing. It's just as easy as that. Like if I got drunk on Mill Avenue where all the college kids are and decide like, you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to piss on one of the many trees on Mill Avenue. Like I can see being put on a registry somewhere because a college kid was like, inflicted with some form of PTSD at the sight of my unsheathed penis. And there's nothing I can do about that because I'm not a cop. I have no power. I have no authority. But like here we are, Stephen Chaisson, like he's not even a bigwig of any sort.
Nope.
He's just a balding cop that like the mayor himself apparently was like, you know what? Mulligan for this dude.
What's going
They're
on?
looking at his phone like there's
Oh.
This is so, now that I know that he definitely got off with no
My wife was
punishment
home this
and
whole
got,
time.
a fine job that probably paid more than he was getting now, like it's
So
annoying.
what times were you home? that you were from when
What time?
you left here? What time?
Left here, went to the boat, stayed there for 5 minutes just to make sure the bilge phones were working. I hadn't been on it.
So I remember, yeah, Brian, since this is big enough, I can read it. There was a great joke on the Drew Carey show back in the day where the gang was having to watch scrambled porn. There was a lot, not a lot, but I remember more than one occasion where sitcoms in my childhood to early adulthood where people were watching scrambled porn. Like, it was such a pervasive thing. I even tried it on my cousin's cable box. Because they had a box, like the classic cable box that you had to get from the cable company, and I would scroll to the porn channels and I'd wait for, the occasional nipple to emerge through that blizzard of static. Well,
Did it ever?
yeah, sometimes. That's the thing. Like, it was scrambled, and all it was needed was like something in your cable box to be told by your cable company that's okay. Because that's why, and that's the thing, maybe, because I saw it on my cousin's TV, because they had all the cool stuff. They had all the horror movies and all the porn channels and all that shit.
Oh, do you think like one of the other TVs had access to it?
No, I think they probably, that's the thing, the boxes and the remotes they used seemed like pretty bootleg, so it felt, even as a kid, I felt like my family was stealing cable, like my cousins and my aunt, my uncle, and that. We never had cable, stolen or not stolen, because we were poor but cheap. So like my grandparents and everybody else in my family had cable, but like my grandma had like
Cable?
legit cable,
Yeah.
and had like a remote from a company, and like the box was nice and like official looking, whereas like my cousins had this like crazy looking corrugated tin box that sat on top of the TV that was just like a red LED that would have 3 digits on it that you could scroll through all the channels, and it felt very sketchy. So even as a kid I was like, something's up here. And even they, maybe even for like hackers, the porn channels were beyond them. I don't know.
So I'm guessing I got your text on the way home, which was 11.
So you weren't home at 11.
Was not home at 11, probably just after that.
But
Around 12.
okay, so also real quick, Ryan, this also brings back a memory of when there's a Friends episode where Joey and Chandler got like free porn, and so they just left it on because they were afraid if they turned it off. Same sort of thing, but like I don't know if you could, like, anyone born after like 1992, you'd be like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if like you turned on your TV and like there was porn on one of your cable channels? Because they'd be like, what? Like, what's cable? Porn's always free, so who cares?
Yeah.
And like, right? It's like talking to someone and being like, hey, what if like water came out of your faucet all the time? Like, that happens already.
He heard if you had both the porn channels and the Cartoon Network on, they put you on a special list.
I mean, that feels very urban legend, right? Because
yes.
there are dudes who like family men who had kids who wanted to keep their kids shut the fuck up with Boomerang and Cartoon Network, who still wanted to like either yank it or get some ideas or watch them with the wife or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put someone on a list because of that. Like, or maybe if you know their demographics, right? Like,
yeah, that'd probably be.
But then why would the cable company know? Like, no one's going to be like, because you would have to make it super obvious, you'd have to be like, yeah, I only want Cartoon Network and the Spice Channel. And who's going to do that?
You tell me. I mean, estimate. 11:05, 11:10.
11:15.
You say you were here from 10 to 11. I suppose we can check to find out when you left the building.
Right.
Okay, so you leave the building and then you go where?
The boat club.
Nope.
So you go to the boat club and you're there for how long?
5-10 minutes. Just went down, make sure the boat was floating.
Why wouldn't it
From the
be?
boat club you go right home.
Straight home.
But you said you were down in Market Square.
No, I said when I came over the bridge from meeting with Chucky, I may have gone through Market Square to get to the station. But, I didn't stop
No.
anywhere.
That's true.
Or
He didn't
anything
say.
like that. So that would have been around 10 o'clock.
Right. And I've seen that technique used a couple of times. They go, you said, and they just sort of massage what they actually said into like
right.
something more incriminating. They go, no, I've never seen it because, like, you know,
I can't imagine that works, because if you rehearse it yourself,
right, you're sticking to your lie. So if they go, well, you said this, you go, that's not part of my lie. That's the one thing that you can do in a lie. Like, the truth is going to be obvious because it's quick and you don't have to think about it. But whether it is the truth or a lie, it'll whether it conflicts, you can't tell because it'll be instantly like, no. It's either not going to immediately jive with the truth, or it's not immediately going to jive with the bullshit story I'm making up. So it's kind of a hard demographic to use as a barometer.
But I wasn't east of Green Street.
I was south
When I
of
left
the
here.
belt line.
And that was right around 11, 10, 55, somewhere around there. Whenever I left here.
Okay.
So what
And
if
you
we
were
did
hanging
put
out
your
with
phone
until when?
records?
Texted with you for a while.
we've been over that.
Probably
Don't
left
talk
there
to me.
around 12:30. Actually, no, I went for a walk with my wife. So it was probably in the afternoon if I went anywhere.
Estimate. If you left your
I,
house.
I don't know, there's some things like culturally you just can't see before a certain time, right? Like some people will say, like you won't drink before noon or whatever. It just, I don't know why it's so funny to me to think that like jerking off in a parking lot is like a nighttime activity. Like I wouldn't even consider, like even if I were a pervert, I would not consider jerking off in a parking lot anytime before like 6:30 p.m. Like 11:30 or 11:45 or whatever in the fucking morning.
The one time I did anything in a parking lot was at night. The only time that I ever did something in a parking lot was at night.
Right, but
In a vehicle.
right, it's a completely different beast. If you're with someone else, totally different. I'm talking about you're a lone sex pervert who gets their rocks off by yanking it while ladies use the ATM.
Right.
You're not like on a date getting fingered in the Fry's parking lot because there's nowhere else to go. You're 17. Like there's, it's your only option. I mean, go on, says Ryan Maxwell.
I left my house with my wife for a walk.
Popcorn bucket.
Yeah,
That was a
12:30.
train station parking lot. Thank you very much.
Classier.
It was right after
I mean, right there above Junkyard.
I texted you.
With a giant spider
We walked the
invaded.
entire rail trail down to Stripers.
Also, how long were you?
Hour. That's when Gregory called me. And I was down pretty much at Stripers
Where were you when I called you?
on the way back.
You were on the rail trail with her?
Yeah, so I have that
Somewhere, let me scroll through my
in
phone.
my call.
Again, since you're a cop, we did no fucking legwork and we'll take you at your word here, apparently. Like, even though it really feels like we know what you did because the lady is pretty competent. The evidence is there. The hair is there, Steven. God damn, it's so annoying. Like, I don't know. Because, like, being a cop, like, getting trained on how to use a gun or do this or that, there's no safeguard or like check or anything to keep weirdos out of anything. Because like, a charismatic weirdo can get in, like Steven here. He was able to make it through the academy, be a cop, and do God knows what before he was caught.
Right.
Again, like with Jeff Palo, like, or Daniel Holtzclaw, like so much shit went down before they were caught that, maybe here in Steven's case, they go, well, we have evidence of, and we don't want to spend any more public money on possible jackings off in parking lots versus like Daniel Holtzclaw, who had like actual physical contact victims. But whatever.
Call log, I'll have that.
I'll get my coat. Get a rope. New York City.
Did anyone see you on the rail trail?
Not that I can know.
That you didn't run any?
Not that I can know.
No. I'm there all the time, so I can't.
How often do you walk the rail trail with your wife?
Like, here's the thing. If I took my wife and kid out to the Arboretum and I walked past an old dude on the trail, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I saw an old man. He had white hair.
Yeah. Just
Check with him.
check. Yeah, go see.
There's my alibi. An old dude walking. Find him.
Good luck.
We've probably done it this fall, probably 3 or 4 times.
How would September 17th stick out in your mind that you guys walked the rail trail from any other day?
I figured because I was tired from yanking it, and it was a little harder of a hike because of aforementioned yanking it.
Right.
Wait, what? No.
Because I told her, like, somebody just accused me of, jerking off.
That like that literal day. Like I told her, someone accused me of jerking off. No, here's the thing. Because, like, really quick, just put yourself in that situation. No matter who you are, no matter where you are. Imagine somewhere somebody levied an accusation at you of jerking off in a parking lot. If it's not true, that is one of the funniest things that I would tell someone. Like, if somebody, like, the cops came up to me, like, at work or wherever, at my house, they catch me at a Target or whatever, they go, hey, because I know I'm not going to jerk off in a parking lot. I would prolong that interaction because I know that I didn't do it and it's going to be a good story later. So they're going to be obnoxious. I'm going to be obnoxious to them because I'm going to try to prolong the interaction. Whereas, like, someone who actually did, expose their member probably isn't going to be interested in, like, going over the nitty gritty details.
Right. That's true.
But boy, oh boy, that's the thing. Part of me sort of wants to get caught up in something like that. Not like anyone in my life gets hurt, but like somehow, like through some bureaucratic bullshit, they go, "Where were you?" And I go, because I know I never fucking leave the house, so it's gonna be. I don't. It just kind of feels like I'm the modern day true crime equivalent of, like, the desperate for attention housewife who, like, pulls the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons in to have, like, lemonade and talk about their day or whatever.
Off in front of, the way Gregory explained it first, somebody was standing in front of the ATM. And then, so she'll remember that day.
Oh, she'll remember that day, especially because there's video of it. That's another thing. Like, the video of him with his wiener out, and the mayor's like, "You're pardoned."
Yep. You're free to resign and then get a good job.
Right, 'cause that's the thing we had, because, like, before, let me put it this way: there's always been, like, a gold standard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Melissa, this is Stephen Chaisson, a Boston cop who was masturbating in a parking lot and got caught, and eventually skated. Crap, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Crap. Well, whatever. Yeah, so he's a cop who, power corrupts no matter how small the amount of, and he just decided to, get his rocks off in a Food Lion.
I feel like, and I don't want to come across as sexist at all, but if it was a woman doing something while, like, watching a man outside of their vehicle, this probably would have never happened.
1,000% different, because, like, that's I don't know, like, yeah, and there's nothing we can do about that, because
not to say that it's right, because it's definitely not.
No,
but
it's definitely not. But, like, think about it like this: like, we on this channel, we covered, like, Julio Soto, like, one of the teachers who, was, like, doing inappropriate stuff with his students, or that other Indian guy, Yasir, or whatever, the Boggy Creek toucher. I mean, there are so many, or for a TCAP reference, God damn it, the can of Coke. What's his fucking name? God damn it, his name escapes me. But you know what I'm talking about. Every time we see a dude in that situation, especially, like, in a school setting, we go, gross. Oh my God, that's fucking disgusting. Sick. But then a lady pops and like the most famous one who like married her victim, Walter Babs. Thank you, Ryan. But like the most famous, like she was abusing a 12-year-old and they got married and
Right.
like that's the thing. There was another teacher who was like a blonde like smoke show. Like she was 20 something, and that's the thing. Since the stereotypical whatever prevails, it just like since mostly men are in charge, we look at a smoke show nailing a 12-year-old, and as a man, you'd go, yes, thank you, Mary Kay Letourneau. I was trying to pull that name, but I didn't want to fuck it up. Yeah, Mary Kay Letourneau, and boy, oh boy, is that a fucking disaster, but whatever. Like, all the people in charge go, oh, fuck. Like, because here's the thing. Most dudes have had a hot teacher at some point and wanted to bang them, so we all sort of subconsciously and some overtly go, well, you know, you sort of want to high five the 13-year-old, but that's like it's both of these things are gross to me. But like, I look at these people who go, on one hand, go like, nice, that 13-year-old banged a hot blonde. Those same people look at Mary Kay Letourneau and go like, gross, or like Walter Babst or the other guy with the Corvette from TCAP. Oh God, I'm really nailing it with the names.
Ryan says, just last week, a 5th grade teacher in Wisconsin got busted for making out with her student.
Right.
That's like 11, right?
It was
10.
I was just watching. I can't remember her name, and if I keep watching, like if there's a lot of content out there about her, I'll hopefully remember it. But she was getting it on with one of her 6th graders, using one of his friends as a lookout. And then he eventually got brought into the sexual activities because he was such a trusted member of this trio.
So much for a lookout.
Like, holy fuck, dude. I just can't. Like,
There was,
kids are so annoying. Like, why do weirdos want to get with children because they are just nothing but annoying on every level? Like, what is it? What? I don't get
and
it.
I think of that SVU episode with Melissa Joan Hart, where she was a teacher.
Right, but she was falsely accused. If you remember, like
was she falsely accused or was she actually?
Well, okay, so that's my interpretation. It's one of those loose episodes where it sort of leaves you on like, you make the decision.
Oh,
viewer.
okay. All right, I don't remember the whole thing, but I thought like they thought she was falsely accused, but then it was like, just kidding, she actually did it. There was just a video of some woman who got arrested for flicking the bean on the beach and then clipped herself. Damn.
Clipped herself? Oh, Jesus.
Pickup truck like yours from here on Federal Street later in the morning.
This is Mary
going
Jane's
after
student
It's
banger.
not mine.
It's not yours.
Absolutely.
I had a crush on a male teacher
17th.
Right.
when I was younger.
Here's the thing. Like that, whatever. I was maybe I'll say primed for this because like I went to the same junior high and I would have gone to the same high school but didn't as my cousins. So as my older cousin Summer and my less older cousin Kevin went through, like he was able to tell, like I was like, man, I'm going to Poston, like fill me in. He goes, Miss, I don't remember what her original name was. He says, Miss so-and-so who teaches history is a smoke show. Check that shit out. So by the time I got there, she had gotten married.
Oh yeah.
So I think her original name was Ms. Thompson, and she had gotten married, so now she was Mrs. Gonzalez. So Ms. Thompson and Mrs. Gonzalez. And like, unrealistic and irrational as it was, like when I got into her class and I knew it was the person that my cousin was talking about, because my junior high did not have very many attractive teachers. Like I remember being just a little crestfallen, being like, oh, she's married. Again, I would have been the sexual predator there because I was 13 and I would have been pursuing like a 27-year-old.
Right. She was using a vibrator on the beach and got arrested shortly after she
It's fucking crazy.
did that after the arrest video went viral. Ugh.
Fucking crazy, you guys. Like, here's the thing. I mean, I'm only saying this because I went a little off the rails when I was 18, but like, you know,
I mean, off the rails how? I've done 2 things that could have potentially gotten me in trouble.
Here's how
3.
off the rails.
3.
So when I was 18, I got a job at my girlfriend's mom at the time was a nurse at this assisted living facility. So I got a job there. Eventually, me and that girl, who I was in high school at the time, broke up. I was 18. And, you know, now that I'm 40, I can tell you this with no shame because my parents aren't going to come after me for this now. But I was entangled with a 37-year-old woman at 18.
Yeah.
Like, and all that entails. Like, I was blown away because I was 18 and like, what? Mm-hmm. And before that, it was a 27-year-old. And I sort of played that up because, like, we were close. Like, I was 18, she was 27, whatever. And I was like, she was sort of iffy about the age, even though it was totally fine. And, like, I probably shouldn't have done this. I was kind of an asshole to her. But so she was sort of iffy about the age thing. So the first time she was going to meet my parents, and I'm like, she gets out of the car and I say, whoa, you know, I kind of underplayed it. My parents are very uncomfortable about our age difference. It's going to come up a lot. So, and I basically played it up like this is going to be a very awkward first meeting.
Oh no.
And then like right up, like, but I didn't keep the joke going forever. It was just from the car to the door. And I was like, psych. So I didn't make her sit through a whole dinner doing that. But
Oh my God, I would have killed you.
Whatever,
Yeah.
like that's the thing. I don't want to. I don't know why I'm telling this story, but there are things you want to go off and do because they just seem like unusual or taboo or whatever. Like when I was able to go out and meet girls, I went off the deep end because like you would expect a white slice of bread like me to stick with other white slices of bread, but
Like me.
Right. But when when my parents go, yeah, okay, it's cool, go date someone, I went as dark as possible. And then after that, I went as old as possible. I dated and got with girls who were all shades of, from like Hispanic to African American. And then I started upping the age. And then I settled on Krista, who's a slice of white bread, just like me.
I dated a Puerto Rican guy. My father did not like him. I wanted to date an African American guy, and my dad did not.
Well, I wasn't. That's the thing. I wasn't bucking any like parental whatever though.
I didn't.
Like, my parents were like, we don't give a fuck, just whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever. So like my first girlfriend in junior high was like a black girl, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm dating a black girl because I was like, it's not me. Like, 'cause I just grew up in my family that was like mayonnaise on white bread with a little bit of salt.
Yeah,
Like, Jesus Christ,
I did
out.
not great things when I was a teenager. Like my parents went away on a cruise for like 2 weeks, and one of the guys that I was dating rode his bike miles to get
Just
to my
like
house.
a T-cat predator.
To get to my house, just to like we didn't even do anything.
Chris
just
Hansen
hung out.
showed up and was like, oh, I just feel, a little comfortable. What about your age?
The last guy I dated before David, when I lived in Connecticut, he was 10 years older than me. So I was whatever. I dated him when I started 18 and he was 28. He was still in college though, so like he was a real winner, you know.
Still in college, wow.
But he was also working full time, and it was a whole thing.
All the old ladies I dated were out of college and like
But
gainfully
he's the one that
employed.
may or may not have had sex with in a train parking lot.
Right, but like, geez, I feel like here's the thing: I was always punching up. Like whenever I got with a lady, like it was, if you were an outside observer, I guarantee everybody I ever dated was like, you're with him, because like at one point I was dating like a pediatric heart surgeon.
Oh yeah.
And I was an electrician. Like, I spent my days drinking water that they had to tape because somebody took a shit in one of the jugs, and so everybody was paranoid. Whereas she was like working with children, opening their hearts and delivering news to parents. I don't know. What we can get. This has nothing to do with Stephen Chaisson. Shh. Wait.
He
called
literally
Brian
rode his
Reed
bike
at
for like probably
10:19
3
here.
miles from his house.
From Ipswich
He was an IT professional too.
Maybe.
PD to Ipswich PD. I called Chris McDonald
Do you
10:21.
want to take your clothes off? I'm not feeling comfortable with this.
Brian Reed called me back at 10:22.
Holy fuck.
Chris McDonald called me back at 10:33.
We've gone through 20 minutes of this footage in an hour and 20 minutes, guys.
And Greg Whitney called me about this incident at 12:56.
This incident.
At 12:56, you're where?
Pretty much at Stripers on the rail trail.
I wish I knew more about Boston.
I call him back 4 minutes later to find out if he's actually serious.
So did you talk to him or did you leave a message?
I talked to him.
Oh.
God, just imagine like doing something you know is against every legal and moral fiber of everybody around you, and then getting a call because you got caught and having to deal with that.
Lieutenant called me at 1:46.
For
Because it'd be one thing to like get caught. Because again, he like the lady saw him and was like, "Hey, you're jacking it." It'd be one thing to get caught and like live in that no man's land of fear that nobody's reaching out, but someone might. And like, are people doing research? Are they looking into me? And like having that paranoia build. But he went like, I don't know, an hour and a half before someone was calling him, being like, "Hey, were you yanking it?" And he's like the worst criminal ever.
about this?
Yeah, he was kind of, hey, heard you were jerking off in front of the, tannery. Greg Whitney called me back at 1:53. I called him back at 2:05.
Let's go back up around the 11 o'clock then.
All right.
11:50
So 11:33 is when I was talking to Chris McDonald here, and I left shortly after that, so,
So 11:33, you're still here.
yes.
Adios, Ryan. Thank you for showing up. Have a good weekend.
My next phone conversation was at 12:56 with Gregory. He called me.
So 11:33, you're here talking to
Chris McDonald.
The thing about this interview too is like it started out
Right after.
on the right foot. Like you want to see a
head to the boat.
I want to say corrupt cop because this isn't necessarily corruption, but you want to see like a cop doing the wrong thing get a little rough treatment, handled roughly. And like when the guy first started talking and he's like, "I'm not going to say shit till this guy gets in here because we got a bunch of shit going on." At the end of that rainbow to be like, you're going to get a high paying job at like a marijuana firm. It's kind of like a kick in the dick.
Next phone is 12:56. Gregory calling me.
All the first time, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's go back to your text.
Can't we just?
Good night, Ryan.
Go back to your text.
Holy fuck with the text. Let me scroll through these fucking texts. Oh, you text for me and who? I was scrolling through the ones of me and my wife. No relevance.
Okay, I got it.
Sat around.
Like, and he's like looking up, like, did you need something from me? Like I was surfing Pornhub.
11:45, 11:40. Let's see, what time is it? It was 11:53.
52 or
Okay,
53.
so it started about 11:40.
A whole minute.
Doesn't this feel like people who aren't invested in, I don't know, man. There are some jobs out there where you just hope that the person doing them is doing them for the love of it. Because ideally there wouldn't be enough money to make people drawn to that to be shitty at it. But this just feels like these dudes are here. Like the old dude who started just feels like now he's just grumpy for no reason. He's not doing it because he's trying to solve the case or whatever. We're all just here because we have to be here. That's why it took 6 weeks. And it's just like, you know, the city of Boston is footing the bill for a 7 or 8 month interrogation that essentially aims to prove that 5 fingers were wrapped around a penis.
I have nothing until 11:59.
11:59.
So you've got,
So you left here at 10 something, and 11:59 is the last point of contact. That's a lot of time to whip it out and yank it. Most dudes will tell you it doesn't take an hour.
And we have a conversation through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Lobsters.
10, 11 texts between 11:59 and 12:16.
we don't care about that. We care about 11:52.
11:59, he texts you.
No, he texted me
I
at
thought
10.
someone had a video playing on their phone.
Right.
Like they
They're just
accidentally opened up
bored.
YouTube. They're like, oh, what the fuck?
I was on the road when I got that. I went home, and then I got back to him at.
Went for a walk with
He
my
texted me
wife.
at 10:59
Right.
that
He just texted me 2 pictures of a boat.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't take an hour
10:59,
for you.
10:55. Texted me 2 pictures of a boat. It was about an hour later. I got
Sorry, I've
back.
been creeping. Seriously, Tony, what the heck?
Right, but yeah.
And hi.
Right. Hello, Tony. Welcome from whenever you showed up. But like, I mean, obviously this isn't something that he thought of nor did. He just drove to a parking lot, found a lady he wanted to spank it to, and spanked it. But like, now that I'm giving critical thought to this scenario, like if I were like as a thought experiment, like told to go out and yank it in a parking lot, it would probably take me an hour to see any sort of progress. So it's probably a real timeline.
Maybe.
You're not going to be, again, you're in a parking
There's no one
lot
else with you, so
at the-
maybe.
yeah, you're at the back of your truck in broad daylight. It's not even noon. I can't see myself like getting the full mast in under 40 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ, come on.
So 10:55, you get the text from him.
Yeah, and I was on the road, so I was between here and home.
Maybe on Water Street.
Water.
I mean, you don't
Okay.
hear anything. Nobody, like, they're not taking a lot of notes. What are all of these? It just feels like
It just feels like they're talking about.
it feels like, you know, whatever your version of gold bricking is, wherever you work, I fucking guarantee you have a slow speed where like you've got an hour left. You're not in any particular hurry. You're just looking to take an E and run out the clock. It's not shameful to admit that about yourself, but like it just feels like that's where we are. Like this isn't like clock in, get the job done. Like enthusiasm's at its peak because there's a pot of coffee on and I am 1 cup deep.
Right.
This is it's 2:30 in the afternoon. You're gonna clock off in a half an hour, so we're just basically sitting
It's like
and
coasting.
watching the seconds tick by. Maybe the phone will ring, maybe not, but it's Friday, it's the weekend, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily the type of attitude I'd want from law enforcement ever, but that's just me.
So 10:55, you get a text from him showing you 2 pictures.
Right.
You get back to him when?
11:59.
So it's
Go
an
on,
hour
yes,
unaccounted
I'd be
for.
yanking it, yeah.
I said, "Are you going to go for it?" Let me get back.
Much like a Brent Christensen.
You can can take screenshots if you want. You know.
It doesn't matter. There's still a whole hour of
That's
nothing.
what's so annoying with like. Cops aren't necessarily smarter than other humans, because I've seen a country mile of cops getting caught for all and sundry who should know exactly, or at least like be aware of the bones that make up like detection of crime.
Yeah.
So for them to go like, you know, do this, do that, like they should have done that already.
Yeah.
They should have. Not given they've had 6 weeks. The fact that they are in front of you in, you know, an interview, they're calling it here because that's not an interrogation
No.
by any means. And after 6 weeks, like, hello?
The first time they talked to him, if he was not a police officer, in my opinion, they would have already taken his phone.
1,000%. Like
So
the only time I've seen like law enforcement officials and or employees get immediately snagged is when they're driving drunk,
Yeah.
because it's not like something that they can go, oh, whoa, like, okay, so for some reason, like exposing your penis to potentially dozens of people is like a hypothetical crime that they have to sort of backpedal. Whereas like if they catch you driving drunk on their little Axis body cam, they have no choice. And I've seen and heard that a million times where they go, you know, yo, dude, I'm not, you know, ruining my career for you. It's on body cam. I pulled you over.
Yeah.
There's a record of it. Stop fucking around. Whereas like, since he didn't get caught in the act by a dude with a body cam on him, he gets to spend 6 weeks as they investigate, and then an infinitum
Right.
of not getting charged with anything.
It all started off with a woman who happened to go to the police station saying
Right.
something, because if she said nothing,
And that's the only part of this that is sort of comforting. It's not like a Jeff Palo where he was like legitimately terrorizing someone outside their house, like scaring them.
yeah.
Like, imagine being a female and like your boyfriend being away and then just someone being outside your house trying the windows and doors.
Yeah, no.
It's fucked. Even as a dude, I wouldn't like that. I mean, based on this incident alone, other alleged or hypothetical whatever may be, I mean, at the most, she saw him yank his crank and she got grossed out. Like, she was
Right.
across a parking lot at an ATM or wherever.
I mean,
There was
not
no
gonna
physical
lie.
contact. Like,
Realistically, if it happened, for whatever reason, if that happened to me, I wouldn't do anything.
right. The only thing that maybe that's it is like any other dude possibly would have just been like, you know, but then they have like the footage though. That's the thing that throws.
Right. But I wouldn't have
Right.
have said anything to him. I would have just gotten in my car and left when I was
Right,
done with what
but
I was
that's
doing.
The thing. It's technically a law was broken and yada yada yada. And the lady, and if it was just like his word against her, it would be like whatever. But they have the footage. Like they have, it's not circumstantial. It's concrete, like provable.
Dick in hand.
Yes. That like, I don't know, man. It's whatever. It just. It's a problem that'll never be solved, but it's the inequity of our system that, like, it's not what you know necessarily, it's who you know, and sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
You're on the road going home,
Yeah.
but you tell me at 11:30 you're still here talking to Chris McDonald.
No.
No.
I left here at 10:20. My last conversation with Chris was at 10:23.
So that's even longer. I think he left at 11. So he has, like, what, an hour and a half of just, like, dead air. No, probably longer.
He left and went to the boat place.
What? No, the boat place is a lie. So if
Well, I'm just saying what he
our
said.
timeline, no, I'm not, he's a liar. So if 10:29 is the last provable point of contact, all the way to 12:59, like that's 2.5 hours of him, just a huge open window for him to unzip his fly and go crazy.
I have it right here.
Am I wrong, or did?
I can
No,
show
I
it to
thought
you.
you said, 11:23.
No, 10:23, I'm talking to Chris McDonald and Brian Reed right after
Okay,
each
you-
other.
Okay,
I'll show it to
I'm
you
just-
right
no,
now.
I'm not, I'm just,
And then 11:59. So we're basically from 10:30 to 12.
Yeah.
And that is such a huge, like, I've seen interrogations where like the window of opportunity was like 40 minutes, and they go, boom, we got you. 2.5 hours feels a little like overkill.
I'm just trying to get it correct. My understanding was you said the first one you had was 11:33, talked to Chris McDowell, and you left the station right after that and went to the
It
boat
was
club.
10, I'll pull it up again. It was 10,
Oh my God, the fucking text.
10:23, I think, or
Okay.
10:33 is when I started those. I'll show it to you right now.
You'd be better off saying yes. It was
You left the
11:33.
station at 10:23.
But that's a lie because
I know, but like,
I mean, but that's the thing. Hypothetically, again, we don't know where we are in time. Like, is this forensic files where they need a quarter-sized spot of blood to get viable DNA, or are we now where, as if like someone sneezed in a room, they can tell? 40 years later.
this person sneezed right here in
10:30. Let me
1986.
find out exactly when the last conversation was with
And then you,
Chris.
and then you went to the.
God damn! I hope we get to see a lot of the footage from your fucking phone. I love scrolling footage.
Whoop, whoop,
Just
whoop,
the movement
whoop.
of that thumb. God damn! Look at that baller.
He's scrolling up. Why is he scrolling up and not, or down and not up?
Well, because earlier he was going down, and now we're so far into it, he's got to go
Back.
back.
Ay, ay,
'Cause
ay.
now he's probably scrolled like you see the movement and the
Yeah,
strength of that
so
thumb.
fast.
Like, if it's 2013, he's probably scrolled back to 2008 with that thumb. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. He's like, whoa, that's a text from 2010. My God, this thumb. View. Look at him go. Jesus. It's like the saint of thumbs. Look at that smooth movement. Oh my God. This guy's a professional
10:17.
texter. Texter on HBO. There you go. See that? This text proves that I didn't pull my dick out of my jeans. Sorry. Cargo pants.
Brian Reed from Ipswich at 10:19. Chris McDonald, 10:21. Brian Reed calls me back, 10:22. I think I was talking to Chris. Brian buzzed in. And I said, I'll get back to you. 10:33, McDonald.
We're so like diluted in the silence and this bullshit about text. It's like if I hadn't kept bringing it up, it'd probably be easy for you to forget that like this is a sex crime.
Right.
Like he pulled his penis out. But we spent the last hour of your real time and 10 minutes of his subjective time just scrolling through his fucking
Just
phone about
scrolling.
boats and like what?
Okay, so.
I left
so
here.
When you were talking, you said 11, so.
I'm sorry.
So it's 10:33.
Right.
You're talking to McDonald at the station, and you left here shortly thereafter to go to
Right.
the boat.
Shortly.
From the boat, you went home,
Yeah, a few minutes at the boat. Went home.
10:55.
Can literally anybody at that boatyard like confirm your appearance? Turns out no, probably, because he didn't fucking go there. He was yanking in a parking lot.
Got the two texts from the lieutenant.
Okay, so you're saying,
Real quick here, speaking of yanking. Not that I'm going to tell you a gross story, but like when I when I was a young man, I was
A young man.
involved in the church for superficial reasons, and so I went to a Bible beach camp.
I'm sure you did.
So it was me and all my dude friends who were, basically were there for the chicks, and the chicks were there for God knows. I feel like their parents were forcing them there.
yeah,
But
they
we
were
went-
there for the dudes.
Right. Well, whatever. We went to beach camp. And so that was anarchy. There was no supervision. They drove us to the beach and left us there for 12 hours a day. A friend of mine got 3rd-degree sunburns and nearly, like, he was vomiting. Like, it was a fucking disaster. How did I start telling the story? Beach camp.
Texting.
Shit. My glass is empty, guys. So that's why it's...
Penises. His penis was out. This is a sex crime. Let me tell you a story about beach camp when I was in my younger days. Did you show your penis to a girl at church camp? Beach camp?
I never showed my penis to anybody in public because I was like, that's a... Like, that thought never even came across my mind. Like, it never even came across as like a prank. Like, mooning people is one thing. Like, I would moon people, family members mostly. I wouldn't do like strangers. But like showing your ass to like someone you're blood related to feels worlds apart from like, you know, the front to strangers.
So when I lived back in Connecticut and I was a lot younger, on the same street as I lived on, there was like the Johnsons.
I had those t-shirts.
There was a younger kid that I was friends with and his older brother, whose name was Dave. He was probably, I don't know, 18 or older. And I have this strange memory of, and I'm sure it happened, obviously, because it's a memory, but like we were hanging out in their basement watching TV or whatever, and it was a bunch of us kids, him and his girlfriend, who were both 18 or whatever, and he just whipped his dick out in front of all of us. Like,
you were subject to a crime.
But like, looking back, like now, yeah, I realize that, but I was probably 12. Maybe 13. I was young, and I remember covering my eyes after he did it because I didn't know what else to do. And I didn't tell my parents because like I would never be able to leave the house.
I've never been in an awkward like adult-child sexual interaction ever, save for one. And it's one of the most bizarre scenarios that like you could ever, truth is stranger than fiction, obviously, because like fiction's based off truth. But like when I was young, this choir came through our city or town or whatever, state, and they sang at our church. This huge choir of like all these churchly people, and they sang Jesus songs and all that shit. And part of them coming was like, well, help us out. And all the people of the congregation put up a few of these dudes for a night. Because they came in, they sang for us, let them spend the night at your house, and they can move on to the next church. So, I sat in St. Peter the Lutheran, I watched these dudes sing, male choir, had 3 of them come back to our house. Those dudes showed me and my brother a Penthouse magazine where a woman was inserting a pearl necklace into her downstairs. Like, we knew these
Those
dudes.
aren't very godly-like people.
Our context of meeting these dudes was hearing them sing about the Lord and then whipping open a penthouse. And also smoking in our downstairs bathroom. Like,
nice.
Here's the thing. All you would have to have done is like go outside to smoke, but they like tried to hide it in the bathroom, and like cigarettes don't make no smell.
Correct.
But that's the only weird sexual interaction as a child I ever had was like these, and who knows, they were probably like 20 years old, but as a child, I was like, these are full-blown adults.
Yeah.
And like they're coming into our house, I don't know them, and they go, hey, check this out. And I'm like, wait.
You were just singing about Jesus.
I just heard you singing about Jesus, and now I see a woman's shaved vagina with a pearl necklace involved.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the party.
Is this Jesus? Welcome, Matt.
By 11 o'clock, you're at the house, and the only time you leave is to go for a walk with your wife.
Right. And I don't know if I left in the afternoon for anything, but
Not to yank it for
the
any
walk
reason.
took up. I don't know if I was working midnight that night or not. I don't know if I went to bed or whatever, but
So you
Whatever.
remember, he remembers like being at work, leaving,
Exact time
going
frames.
to the boat, coming home, taking a walk, and then it's just like a memory wash from then until today. It's like, well, I don't know if I was working midnights. I don't know if I was. I mean, you remember taking a walk with your wife that you do 3 to 4 times a month, which is like once a week, if that. Hello,
It's like taking a kid to Denny's once or twice a
I
month.
definitely didn't go back to Newburyport.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Damn it. God damn it.
In that area, especially after Greg told me, description of the vehicle and everything.
My vehicle.
Okay. Here's the problem I'm having.
Oh,
The
here it is.
lady that describes a guy that fits your description.
Uh-huh.
The
Somewhat.
haircut,
I don't.
Somewhat. I mean, I did get a haircut. This kind of does.
No curly hair here.
It does feel a little bit like Stan Smith. I can't remember the episode, but like he does some bullshit where like, oh, it was the museum where Francine's vagina portrait is displayed.
That was a long
So he
time
tries to
ago.
break in, but then like he's like trying to get on as a security guard, and he goes, "Well, it was someone who looked a lot like you with the suit and the flag pin, but they didn't have a mustache." He's got the fake mustache, and it's like, well, yeah, the victim describes curly hair, but look at me.
Yeah. No
And that's
curly
the
hair.
thing. When
here.
we found a receipt for a haircut in your pocket, Stephen.
I don't think the haircut does. I've never had curly hair, so. But
Well,
Before the haircut, you might
Yeah,
have. You fucking
maybe.
idiot.
dark hair, wavy hair, wearing cargo pants.
Red truck.
Cargo
On
pants.
an orange burnt truck with the 3 initials to your plates.
right.
Right. So that was me.
That appears to be chewing tobacco. All right, it's got a lump right in the front of his chin, which you admittedly do.
So yeah,
Uh,
I mean that's the thing. Sometimes it feels like there's so much circumstantial evidence. It feels like, well, in some cases, I would take this much circumstantial evidence over DNA,
right.
unless the mayor isn't corrupt.
Well,
Allegedly.
with Dyson hairs, but I don't put it in the front of my chin. I put it on the side of my mouth. But
Okay.
no.
Yeah. So every time I'm yanking it, it's like the lump is here, not here.
Right.
So if she saw a dude stroking his Johnson at 11:30 in a parking lot, chewing tobacco, and the lump was here and not here, wasn't me, Your
no,
Honor.
wasn't me.
Not guilty.
Splitting hairs, but
Oh,
So
you think?
I'm just looking for some way, given the circumstantial evidence that we have here,
Which is a lot.
the next step.
can
is
she
that,
do a lineup? Can she do a,
Um,
You know.
I'm not sure.
Even if she
pick
could,
her
she
lineup.
probably would have picked
well,
you.
Pick
she
you.
wouldn't pick me out of a lineup? Can she see me and say, no, that's not him, or I don't see the person here?
She's not confident.
I mean, that's
I wouldn't be either.
maybe you guys are familiar with my concept of the if-then bridge to
Believe
nowhere.
me, I am.
Yeah. So, hey, if she's able to see a photo lineup, then says I'm not the sex pervert, then I can build that bridge to the rest of my life.
It's like
But
a
that's
flow chart.
really incumbent upon the if. Like, if I were guilty of a crime, I don't know if I would offer to show the person who I victimized my picture. But I'm not the brain trust that is this guy.
Look, he got a haircut.
He's very smart. And
Yeah.
he changed his
So,
plate,
Right.
which he easily admitted to because it was easily traceable.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And free.
was it a good idea?
Back to all the circumstantial stuff. I've got a burnt colored truck parked in front of the bank. I've got your plate number, the last 3 numbers of a plate that's yours.
Yeah.
I've got you changing your
Yours.
plates.
Well,
I've
changing my,
got you.
you
I'm just.
That is circumstantial.
Actually,
Yeah, but they did that. Yeah. Hello? If you weren't guilty of a crime,
Why would you? Yeah, you
the
wouldn't change your
person-
plates.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is bullshit. That's the thing. People who have been accused of stuff, again, I'll put an asterisk.
A caveat.
Yeah, caveat. A lot of people who are accused of stuff will go like, bullshit. But there is a subset of person out there who has been beaten down by life who would just be like, I don't know.
I'm just
Right.
talking about the facts. Though.
All right.
You've never come down to speak to me not once about this, never to say anything other than, like I was never there, anything.
I thought it went away. I thought this was,
Well,
this is,
I thought that
You
since
guys took forever.
Since I was a cop, it was swept under the rug.
Right.
You know,
Like it
fucking-
will be.
Come on, bro. Daniel Holtzclaw has like 200 and something victims. Give me a fucking break.
6 weeks later, and,
I yank it once in a Food Lion parking lot. Oh, now I'm the public enemy #1 in Boston.
If you thought it went away, why do you keep looking at the report?
just to see if
a good
anything's
question.
changed.
Why would you do that?
Just to see if, Gregory
Yeah, most things that I think went away, I typically check on. Most, like, if a family member dies, I'll go back to their house and make sure they're not, like, walking around
really?
still alive.
got anything back, any more,
Evidence about my pubes.
evidence or whatnot.
Any videos?
What would it matter if it wasn't you?
I'd like to find out who it was. I think Gregory would come to me, but, Gregory doesn't come to me anymore. So, I figured,
And fucking why would he? And quit saying yo. 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 Yo.
I
something
feel like you're out there by yourself.
yeah.
I mean,
You
basically-
Well, do
reached
you
out
know
word.
why?
Nobody else was out there yanking it with you. It was you.
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, you say, I'm saying,
I was reaching out to Greg, seeing if he found out anything, and he said he was out looking for the truck.
Reaching
stuff
out
like
to my
that.
501 button fly.
Quite honestly, I was too. I almost got in an accident over at
Yow.
Tom's Discount.
Yo.
I saw a truck like mine, and
Yeah.
I went to look at it and almost ran into the guy in front of me. It's not like
Yeah, I see the truck and I'm like, yo.
Meow.
I just
Lightning
thought
McQueen.
nothing happened after the first week or two.
Yo.
This was gonna go away. I knew how it looked, and
Yo. Now that's all I can hear.
Meow.
that's
This is like sitting on the edge of a highway as a man talks to me as cars drive by.
what I was hoping for.
Meow.
Well, I can certainly imagine that you're hoping for that.
Right.
Now you've chased down
Yeah, I
some
mean,
trucks that look like you.
If I were this guy and did the things I did, I would definitely hope it would go away.
Meow.
Because imagine, like getting pulled, like anything, like no matter what you're doing. Imagine your boss coming and be like, "Were you yanking it?" Meow.
Meow.
Like yours?
Yeah.
Have you got the plate numbers?
Got the plate of one.
Hey,
Anything close to your plate?
No.
Not even close.
But there are BPH plates. There's one in Salisbury. We have two in-house here. They're not on those trucks, but
Yeah, so it would be pretty ridiculous for a plate that's somewhat close to mine on a vehicle that looks nothing like mine to be confused by a lady. I mean, they're the weaker sex, guys. Come on. Suffrage was a bad idea. Let's take away the vote. Women are things.
on the offhand,
Yeah.
Gregory
Yeah.
said she wasn't even sure. She didn't think it was a mass plate. So,
Meow.
then we're looking at New Hampshire. I know Maine
Meow.
doesn't have any green plates, but
God, it's like I'm sitting, like listening to the worst conversation, like the most boring conversation you've ever heard in the middle of like a NASCAR event.
Meow. 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 Meow.
Meow.
Meow.
And there's one dude on the track. That's why there's so many or so few. Like meow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go
Yeah.
back to my options. I've got limited options.
It's like 45
I've got
seconds as he
overwhelmed.
goes around the whole track. So like meow.
Points towards you.
He's practicing.
I'm hoping you can offer me something that's
Penis
going
shaped.
to take and
my wife can attest to where I was. I don't know if my
I'm sure she will.
I mean, as
Steven.
far as she saw you, like I don't know, man. Like,
If I was his wife and he was like, "We took a walk, right?" I'd be like, "Probably that was fucking a million years ago."
I don't know what I would do. Like if Krista were a murderer and the police come to me and they go, "Hey, where was your wife at between this and this time?" I would honestly have to go like, "I don't fucking know." Like whatever. But like,
She's either here or she's not home.
or she's not, and I don't ask because she says she's going out. I go, "Okay, I'm not a fucking babysitter." But like,
I never go out except for groceries.
right, but that's the thing. Like with this dude here, like you can say, well, you'd ask my wife. She'll tell you and corroborate
Right.
my alibi basically in the same time frame I am, which gives me 2.5 hours to commit this.
Yeah, because
crime.
it, like, you know, not gonna lie. Like, if you came in and you were like, "Hey, if anybody says anything," like I was
Hey,
at
crazy story. A lady called where I work and said I was masturbating in front of her, and not only in front of her, but in front of God and everybody else in a parking lot of a grocery store. Isn't that funny?
You'd be like, if anybody asked, I was at the boatyard, and I'd be like, all right.
I'd be like,
Father lives next door, but I'm not sure where he was during the time or whatever.
Whatever. Whatever.
what song was that?
Yeah, I can look into it more.
No,
Whatever.
United States of whatever.
One of those one hit. I don't know if I call it a wonder. It was definitely wasn't.
Not a wonder.
Yeah.
It was just the
Like-
song that,
The New Radicals had a one hit wonder.
yeah,
Whoever they are had a
whatever.
whatever.
You know, try and think if somebody was around.
It wasn't Marcy's Playground with Sex and Candy.
No.
Sure.
Mars, yeah.
No problem taking that?
No problem at all.
That's a good song.
Okay.
Or fuck. Who sang One Headlight? The Wallflowers? That's fucking Bob Dylan's son.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a good song, but that was the only song.
It's fine. I think Bob Dylan is overrated and
Well, yeah,
not talented, and that's why his son had a one-hit wonder, but whatever.
whatever.
I can appreciate a song about a motorcycle,
The last thing I want to do is criminally charge you.
and so I won't. I'm going to get the mayor to fucking
give you
pardon your fat
immunity.
ass, your jacking off ass, and we'll get you a nice cushy job at like a weed cop.
I want
Yeah.
to take an
He became a compliance officer for marijuana.
If we end up going down
in
that
the state.
road, you realize we're not coming back.
Right.
Okay, there's no coming back, so that's why I'm saying to you, I spoke to the district attorney's office this morning. Today is the day where if there's any changes, today would be the day that let's decide it up, and if it's not you, it's not you.
It's not
but
me.
I'm just saying, I want to put everything on the
understand that.
table for options.
100% you
I wonder,
fucking liar.
like, you know, for him in his dumb little mind, if this is how he wanted to get out of the police force.
No. No.
Because if he
no.
resigns, he would still get his pension and all that bullshit probably, and he could just not be on the force anymore and still
Listen,
get a
okay,
job somewhere
okay.
else.
I'm not going to say that there's a 0% chance that a human being would get the bright idea to masturbate in public to stop being a police officer. However, that is so fucking ridiculous, I have to reject it wholesale. Okay? So just saying, I'm not saying it's not totally impossible. I'm saying it's so improbable that you look foolish for having proposed it. Does that make sense?
Is this Gary Busey?
This is Gary Busey. I mean, here's the thing. We know he doesn't get in trouble. I'm just going to call it here because we've been going for long enough. He doesn't get in trouble. That's the thing.
Nope.
This is an unfulfilling arc to...
I was
And-
hoping that
but,
when
like,
I
who's
looked him up,
surprised?
I was hoping when I looked him up that he at least got some time, but he didn't.
That's the thing. Like, there are some... Very few, because every once in a while they will find someone to use as a scapegoat. And so they'll get an unnecessarily harsh punishment because of so many people getting away. So they go, we have to make an example. So I'm going to say, case in point, Stephen Chaisson here, yanking it in a parking lot, gets to skate because Daniel Holtzclaw got 287,000 years.
Right.
So, whatever. Nothing is fair. Nothing is equitable. And that's where we are. We get people like this dude who do relatively minor things, provably minor things. And you go, okay, literally no punishment and went on to a better job.
Yeah.
Whereas like Daniel Holtzclaw, his case is full of holes. It is full of reasonable doubt at the very least. Yet he's been put away for the lifespan of 17 humans.
Right. My my uncle that I don't associate with, he was a DEA. He was a police officer, and he worked with the DEA after he was like a, street police officer, whatever you want to call him. He, in my opinion, went into a bunch of corrupt shit, somehow resigned, and got $1.5 million and moved here.
Right. That's the thing. It's like those ecosystems not only set up like a perpetual security blanket for the murders, but for these smart criminals, it sort of pays them off on the back end.
Right.
Because if you're stupid in a murder like Wettlaufer or any one of those people who killed medical patients because they can say, well, God told
They were
me,
angels of whatever.
The fuck. They can be stupid, kill a bunch of people, and just skate from hospital to hospital because they get their rocks off that way. But if you're smart and twisted, you can kill a bunch of people and make the hospital pay you for it.
Right.
Because you can go, well, if you're going to make me leave, give me some money.
Right. Give me something for it.
Give me $1 million
Hush money.
for every baby I killed, or give me $500,000 for every old person I gave an air embolism to.
Right.
And they'll do it because that's the system that is. Rather than lose any face or credibility, it's just like, well, here's the thing. It's kind of like a really lopsided interrogation where the person they're negotiating with knows they have all the power. So you just hope they're fucking stupid. They say, the hospital goes, okay, you killed 24 people. If you stop now and leave, we'll give you a letter of recommendation that'll guarantee you a position anywhere else.
Somewhere else, right.
And they go, yeehaw! And Cindy Wettlaufer does that for 3 times.
Right.
If they're smart, they go, okay, I'll take that and $1 million. Because even if I go down, it'll destroy you.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So,
yeah. And
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if Grant Amato were smart, he probably could be living off of a settlement for being incompetent. But instead, he killed his parents and his brother.
Yeah.
But whatever. Moral of the story is, that's all I got for you. He gets off scot-free. He's a piece of shit. Steven, if you're watching, fuck you and fuck your whole lineage. That's all I got. That's it. I don't think we can say about that beyond that, because, like, what do you do? Like, it's obvious. There's evidence. It's beyond my reasonable doubt. But the mayor thought otherwise.
Yep.
And that's bureaucracy.
Yep.
Fuck that shit. So, for all you corruption conspiracy theorists, one for you. That's it. So I'll see you maybe sometime. That's the thing. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Maybe Sunday. Maybe we'll do something. I don't know what. Smell you later.
Bye.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.